As many of you know from my recent posts on the blog and from social media, my friend Saidah and I just completed a road trip. One of the major reasons Saidah and I wanted to take this trip is because, as I mentioned in the piece, we are both living abroad, and America and the American beauty has been calling us for some time now.
This has very much been a trip that's 20 years in the making, and so when the opportunity presented itself, we were super excited to be able to plan it out and to realize this sort of dream that we've both had. We were concerned with the drive about what types of people we might encounter and what interactions we might have and how positive or not they might be.
One of the things that happened, unfortunately, as we set out on the trip was the tragic death of Mia Wilson. And at the time of her death, we were on the road and we weren't getting as much information about what happened, but as the days passed, we were able to check in and read the news. And I started to receive a lot of comments in regards to her death and in regards to just the irony that we were setting out on this trip as a young black woman gets murdered in the United States by a white supremacist. And it wasn't lost on us at all, and we talked about it while we were driving, and we just talked about the fact that we weren't going to change our plans because the trip very much, at that point, it was clear that the trip represented a way that we could absolutely resist to the hate that pervades American society in terms of racism.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked a lot about this, and I think it was, you know, in part also about sort of owning our space and owning our right to be here and to enjoy this country just as much as any other American. And so it was about realizing a dream that we've had for a while and taking a trip. It was about sort of being defiant in Trump's America, which is so blatantly and brazenly racist at times. It is also about sort of asserting ourselves and being black women free to be whoever we want to be in whatever space we want to be it in. And I think that was very important to us, and to show that as well to Maya.
Yes, and other young black girls in America, because obviously the black female plays such an important role in society, and unfortunately there isn't any value placed on her life and her contributions and her power. And we want young black women to know that Mia Wilson's death is never going to be forgotten, and women like us and other women we know are going to be reclaiming the space, you know, encompassing the space and saying, no, you can't box us into spaces anymore. You can't create a existence of enslavement anymore. We will not be forced into hiding. We will not be forced into restricting our mobility because of fear. Because at the end of the day, it's a sort of terrorism. You know, the administration talks about terrorism, but most of the terrorism that's occurred since Trump has been in office has been homegrown terrorism by people he's emboldened.
So people were very friendly to us, very open, very warm, very interested in our trip. From Wisconsin, from Milwaukee, all the way through to Seattle, everywhere we stopped, we had very engaging conversations. They were friendly to Maya, talking about how beautiful her hair was, and she does have very beautiful hair, if I may say so myself.
Exactly. The level of friendliness was intense at times. In the car, we had a lot of time to actually, obviously, talk about everything that we were seeing and experiencing. And in regards to the friendliness that we experienced, the theories that we came up with included, A, these people were genuinely nice, because you never want to just, you know, generalize about people that you don't know. The second thing was we felt like it may have been related to white guilt, you know, just the guilt associated with having a leader of our country who is so divisive, the guilt that may be associated with the fact that many of them may have voted for this president, the guilt associated with the fact that they live a life of privilege and they've never had to endure anything that people of color have to endure. We had many get out of the car moments where we just got out the car and we were like, whoa, like just literally take my breath away is a real thing. And there's a vastness and there's an abundance of land that exists in the states that we visited. And it's just amazing. Mother Nature, Mother Earth is just such a force. And if you guys have the opportunity, you should definitely visit, especially as people of color. We were extremely surprised at our experience.
So many people we chatted with were just lovely people, super interesting with their own stories that were great to hear about. So thank you for making our trip so exciting and helping us to feel safe. So it was great.
So guys, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will answer them. America is a complex situation. It's a complex history, a complex story. I know that you're probably thinking of other things that you'd like to discuss and hear our impressions about. Leave your comments below and I promise I will answer all of them. And thanks for watching. And this is my best friend. Yay!